Alright guys, today we're going to talk about plasma cutter. But before we can talk about the machine itself, we have to understand what plasma is. Does anybody have any clue as to what plasma is?
Isn't it a type of matter?
Plasma is a state of matter. Okay, so Destiny, what are the 4 states of matter?
Solid, liquid, gas, plasma.
Very good. So let's take water for example. If we start with ice, with a cube of ice, and we add heat, every time you add heat, matter changes. Okay? So if we add heat to a cube of ice, Jesse, it goes to what?
Liquid.
A liquid. Okay? So Destiny, then if we add more heat to that liquid, to the water, it's going to change from a liquid to a what?
Gas.
A gas, which is steam. So if we continue to add heat, it's going to change from gas to plasma. Okay, so plasma is basically the gas's ability to carry electricity. Okay, so the gas particles become ionized, they become conductive of electricity. Okay, so lightning goes through a plasma jet. Okay, that's kind of how that works. All right, so to our machine now, we're going to start by, this is a gun, this is what produces the plasma jet. Okay, so the only way for us to have a plasma jet, we have to go from a gas to plasma. What gas do you think we'll use?
Oxygen.
Oxygen. Oxygen from our compressed air compressor. Okay, so we're going to grab our air compressor hose. We're going to plug it into the back side of the machine, like so. On back here, we're going to go ahead and plug into our power supply, 240 volts.
Would that kill you?
Would what kill you?
240 volts.
Of course 240 volts could kill you. Okay, we're not saying that it would, but it most definitely could kill you. Alright, so we'll start with our gun. It comes apart. The reason it comes apart is because all of these components get trashed, or they're consumables, and we throw them away and get new ones. Okay, so little side note, plasma immediately becomes about 40,000 degrees, which is super hot. Okay. All right, so
How hot is oxyacetylene?
well, oxyfuels cutting is going to run around 6,000 degrees. So plasma 40,000, oxyfuels 6,000. Also, your metal when you cut with a plasma cutter is not going to be as hot as it is with oxyfuel outfit, but it's hotter, higher temperature. So why do you think that is?
You're heating a
Smaller area. That's exactly right. So the area that you're actually heating is much smaller than with oxyfuels. Oxyfuels is heating a much larger area. Okay. So this is our drag shield. This is what's on the outside of the gun. This is what drags across the metal. Next we have our tip. See the small hole in the tip? I'll pass that around. Look at that very small hole in the tip. That's what we force the oxygen, in our case compressed oxygen, through to heat it up to make the plasma jet. Okay, so this is our electrode. Okay.
How long does an electrode last?
It depends on how often and how much use you get out of it. You use the machine and how much care you take of the machine. Okay? So if we used it every day in our class, several weeks, but
Might change it out at the end of the year.
probably so. It may probably change it 3 times a year. I would say if we started from, both semesters, obviously, if we used it regular throughout both semesters, you'd change it a few times a year. All right, so our electrode and tip, as our pressure increases from our compressed gas, the tip comes away from the electrode, causes an arc. That arc starts the plasma jet. That plasma jet takes the electricity that we're receiving from our plug-in, okay, it sends it to ground. So our metal has to be grounded. Notice how we have got our metal cleaned up. It will not cut non-conductive materials, okay, so it will not cut this table, whereas an oxyfuel torch, it will set the table on fire because it's a flame, okay, so this is a completely different deal.
So that means that nobody can accidentally cut themselves?
That is correct. It would not cut your finger off because your finger is not conductive of electricity. electricity per se, you know, it was not.
Unless your finger was like under the metal or something.
That is correct. It is a little safer than oxygen, okay, in some senses, okay? So we have to be grounded to carry the electricity from point A to point B. Electricity has to go to ground, so we have to ground them there, okay? Next thing we're gonna do is make sure that we have our PPE on before we start cutting. Third thing we're gonna do is turn the machine on, okay? This is a safety switch. Safety's gotta be up before you can start the plasma, okay? So then you have to have your tip, your drag shield down next to your metal. Gonna pull. All right, everybody hears that the gas is still coming out. Why do you think that the gas is still coming out? So it cools the tip down. If we overheat our tip, it's consumable. It says it right here on the top of the machine, our tip is consumable. If it stays hot, do you think it's going to last longer or shorter period of time? Exactly. So Mason, I want you to cut first with it, please, sir. Start up here. Start on the corner on the edge, just correct. Straight up and down. Very good. Destin's gonna make you a cut. Very good. Yes, come on. So we see how instantaneous it is when you start cutting. So you mash the trigger, plasma jet starts, it immediately starts cutting. There's no preheat involved, okay? So Mason, won't you grab oxy-fuel outfit? And now we can look at the difference between oxy-fuels and the plasma jet cutter, and we see the difference in the time it takes, the amount of surface area of the metal is hot. The metal's going to get a lot hotter because you're heating up a larger area of material.
While I was cutting, I observed that it didn't have any slag.
It does not have a lot of waste. There is some, if you look at the underside of it, there is some metal because obviously you're heating the metal up. It's melting it to make that cut, but you're going at a lot faster pace. So you don't have like in the here's a piece of metal that's cut with oxy outfit. With this you don't have large amounts of metal on the bottom side of the cut because you're cutting faster and it's cutting a smaller area of metal. Let's take this ground off. Go ahead. That's what I was saying, Destiny, is cutting a smaller area of metal, so you don't have as much molten metal on the bottom side of the material as you do with oxygen. Like you guys notice on this thin metal. Alright, turn it off, Mason, let's look at it. Y'all got it, come around here. If you see this piece of metal right here, you see this heat pattern?
Mm-hmm.
You see how wide it is away from the cut that he just made? Now look at the heat pattern off the plasma cut. See how small that heat pattern is?
Mm-hmm.
It's not getting, the temperature of the plasma jet is much higher. But the surface area that it's heating up is much smaller. Does that make sense? So that's why it makes a cleaner cut. that it's not melting, it's not using as much surface area it's not heating as much surface area up to make the cut. So it's gonna make a lot cleaner cut than our oxy-fuel outfit does. So on our grills that we're building outside, we've been using the oxy-fuels outfit. The plasma cutter would be a much better choice, as long as their metal's clean, as long as you got a steady hand, and as long as it isn't any skips in the metal. You know, it wouldn't cut the expanded metal very well because it's not a solid sheet of steel. You know, you're gonna lose that conductor underneath that drag sheet. Whereas oxy-fuels, doesn't matter, it doesn't have to have a conductor to cut. So does everybody understand why this machine in certain applications could and would be better than the oxy-fuels outfit? Very good.